Garry's Mod, the game where basically anything is possible, whether it's killing Teletubbies with the Infinity Gauntlet, or even if it's just creating infinite portal loops. Or flying around in the TARDIS from Doctor Who. Now, this all seems pretty fun, right? Like, almost like you're a god. Well, let's dive deep into the lore of Garry's Mod, and you might find that some of these maps aren't as innocent as they seem on the surface. And that's what we're talking about today. Now, I'm sure most of you are aware of the map GM Construct and the dark area that it comes with that map. Now, you may know that this room gives off a very funny feeling for most people, and I mean, just looking at this and listening to the surroundings, you can clearly see why. So, like I said, pretty creepy, right? Now, if you go back 10 years ago, maybe even more, there was so many myths and sightings. Well, I say sightings, quote unquote sightings. There was never any solid proof that these figures, these happenings actually were legit, because all people had were, because obviously how long ago it was, the quality was very low. But it's not just these sightings and the darkness in these maps that makes it creepy. What makes it worse is, well, Source games have a feeling of loneliness, because there's all this background noise, all this sound that's used, but yet you're the only one in these maps. So it makes you, it's almost as if there's people around but you just can't see them, almost as if they're invisible to you. So again, take a listen to this. And again, here, after that, you can tell there's almost just as if something's with you but just doesn't want to show itself, or they want to make themselves known but they don't actually want you to see them. That sort of feeling. Now, a lot of maps in Garry's Mod have given off this feeling and even forced people to sometimes log off, or wanting them to play with someone because they're too scared to go in alone. Now, this is another example of that here. And again, you can clearly see that there's a very bad vibe in this map. It's not a good map for good vibes. It's again that feeling of something with you, but it doesn't want you to know it's there. Or sorry, it wants you to know it's there, but it doesn't want to physically show itself. And again, that's one of those things where it's like you want to have someone there because you don't want to play on it alone. So there's so many maps on Garry's mod that gives off this sort of vibe, and this right here is the map I'm on now, and you've probably recognised it just from that clip, and you'll know that a lot of myths and legends have come from this map. If you've played on this map in the past and you've kept up with Garry's mod and stuff, you would have heard these myths. So here's a quick clip of the very dark parts of this map that helps give off this horrible feeling of loneliness and being watched. Right, so again, not exactly the most comforting map. See, even if you play on the most basic map on the game, it's still quite creepy, and people took this into account and even went to making haunted versions of the map, purposely for the scare factor. Even RP_downtown that I just played, that had a haunted version made of it, and the original map, GM Construct. People have made haunted versions of these maps purposely to hype up the scare factor of them. The reason I'm making this video is just to talk about the vibes of these maps, the feelings. Now, quickly coming back to this image from earlier, do I think it's real? It's hard to say. I mean, things like this can be so easily faked. I mean, that could be something as simple as an NPC painted black and then put into the distance, and then he's just put an overlay on the video to make it look all foggy. Now, if it is real, then you know it just adds to that factor of you're not alone in these maps. So let's take a quick journey back in time to when this image was released. Now, at first glance, this image doesn't seem that bad, right? Well, if we zoom in over here, then you can clearly see some sort of figure. Now, could this be a real image again? Now, again, it's hard to say, but Source games, even Half-Life 2, people have claimed to see things, and even back in when Gmod was still in early development, testers said that they had caught things on video that they just couldn't explain. Now, do I personally think that any of these rumours are actually true? I mean, sure, the picture that I showed earlier of the black figure, now that was quite convincing when it was first released, because obviously back then that was sort of in the era where everyone thought that that map had something wrong with it. But now, looking back, I think it's quite funny that even I believed it. But personally, I just think Garry's mod is just, and all the Source games really are just, they're innocent. It's just the sounds and the noises that are used throughout make it seem more populated and more like you're around people more than what you actually are. So it makes it seem more darker than what it is. So personally, no, I think all the Source games have always just been you and yourself. Sure, you may get an eerie feeling at times, but I think it's just because you're on your own. Every time I'm on my own, I sometimes get that sort of eyes on me sort of feeling. But I honestly think there's nothing to worry about with these sort of rumours. So yeah, so if you guys want me to do another sort of lore video like this, then make sure to let me know. And thanks for watching, and let me know in the comments what you think. Thanks for watching, goodbye.